Hello there. Greetings from Australia. I'm finally back home, and there's still a lot of delirious relief and joy at the elections. So I'm sure the honeymoon will wear off in a month or so, but for now, it is so fabulous to have a new government in. And the Green Party has done very, very well. And so there's going to be pressure on the equivalent of our Dems to do more. And so I'm still on a high from that. But on the other hand, of course, we can't start this reading without commenting on the dreadful, dreadful shooting in Texas. And Governor Greg Abbott, who said it was inconceivable. He couldn't understand why this would happen. Really? Well, the Houston Chronicle went to town and they ripped him to shreds about his actual choice of words, which was, I think, incomprehensible. And they said, but you're the one who leads this state where any teenager can get any number of weapons without a background check, without a license. You took away anything to do with permits for open carry. You've done this, you monstrous turd. Just dreadful. Monstrous creature. So, look, can it make a difference? Will it make a difference? It remains to be seen, but it certainly gives the Dems a forum for highlighting the issue once again, you know. And the town was the hometown for the actor Matthew McConaughey, so he has given some heartfelt responses to this dreadful, dreadful shooting. Meanwhile, the right to lifers, who are really concerned about imaginary children, who it would appear do not care that American children are forced into a situation of being terrified of going to school. I can't imagine what it's like for 6-year-olds, 8-year-olds, 10-year-olds, 14-year-olds, and their parents to have to deal with the aftermath of this, as well as the poor parents who have lost their children. It is inconceivable, speaking of what's his face, Abbott, that this can continue. You know, talk about the dark soul of America on full display. Absolutely, brutally horrendous. So on the back of that, sorry, but it has to be said, the NRA are having their conference, Party Time for Gunslingers. And the irony of ironies, that the place where the Yeti is speaking, they're calling it a leadership conference. Right, what would he know? Guns are banned. So he's not under threat. You know, the hypocrisy knows no bounds. So I'm just going to have a quick look, first of all, about the tone of this NRA conference. What's happening with that? And what happened with all those corruption scandals and stuff? What's happening with the NRA, people's relationship to it? What's going on with the NRA conference? Unbelievable. Okay, intrepid viewers, here we go. Oh. Look, this is interesting. The Ace of Wands coming up as the signifying card. This could be them, the NRA, just business as usual, you know, and learning nothing. It is the Fred Flintstone card. Or is this people actually expecting a bit more from them, some direct action? Well, we'll have to see from the other cards. Oh, the lighting's weird, isn't it? Oh, God. Now, hopes and fears is very interesting. That are the Tower. They've got to be very careful how they handle this. If they're too, they can't really win, because if they pretend to care, no one will believe them. And if they ignore this shooting, hot on the heels of Buffalo, that was truly dreadful in its own right, they're not going to look good either. I think we're seeing the beginning of the end of it as an organisation. There's another irony here, intrepid viewers. The NRA started off back in the day as a thing for responsible gun ownership. That was their shtick. And now look at them. Women. Now, this is happy women. So I don't think this is the terrified, distraught mothers of America worried about their children. No, this is the women who are NRA nymphettes or whatever, like Lauren Burtbart in the Shooters Cafe that she had, which didn't even work as a business. I think this is going to be women at this conference, the worst sort of possible female you could get. The Nine of Wands, they're a bit damaged, and if they had an ounce of compassion or responsibility, they would be feeling it. I think this is a temporary state for them. They're feeling hard done by. Look what people are doing and saying about us. Now, the last card, outcome, the Hierophant. So bear in mind, this is about rules from on high. This could be in the future, and hopefully in our lifetimes, where somebody acts on this in America's best interest. It's a big problem because it's like domestic violence, the most dangerous time, the most vulnerable time for a woman leaving domestic violence is exactly that, when she's leaving. So people are afraid of what will happen if these laws are brought in. But I think the Dems have to understand, like they know, that 70% of Americans want change. It's one of the issues that Americans are most united on. Really, it is. Maybe the United States needs to have a moratorium separate from other elections where people can go and have a say. Do they want some measures of gun control? The basics, like banning automatic and semi-automatic weapons, would be a start. Background checks across the nation, make it a federal thing. Who knows? They just cave into these states constantly. Okay, so this could be good for Beto. Let's have a look. Did you see that video clip where he walked up to Abbott and said, "You are responsible for this, you." And again, doing nothing. And you can see security were brought in, but they were reluctant to actually manhandle him. It was an interesting moment. But let's have a quick dip in as we speak with Beto. Wouldn't it be wonderful? Let's see. A possibility, but I'm a bit worried. These cards are a bit passive for my liking here on this. I'm not seeing big, bold dynamism. So what we have got, we've got the Nine of Pentacles. And with the Nine of Pentacles, this is someone who has an education and who does care. And and looking for solutions on some level. You know, with the 9, it's getting there at the end of a cycle, in this case, end of a cycle of tolerance for American children to be executed in the schools. That would be a start, would it not? Yeah. So looking to that, what he's up against is the nostalgia. Americans tend to live, it used to be more in the future, very futuristic, leading the world in technology and ideas. Now it's all going backwards and looking back for solutions that weren't there in the first place. Sorry to break the news. So looking backwards, this is what he's up against. Surprise news here. People, they won't really want to hear it. Here's the fish in the cup. So somehow people are torn between being exhausted by the repetition of these ghastly, ghastly incidences, and on the other hand, watching them recede to the back burner after a short period of time. I think another nugget of information is going to come forward that will keep it at least on the front burner for a while. Beto is the person for leading Texas, even ultimately, of course, say he could go for president in a decade's time and still be a good age for it, leading them to more peaceful waters. He knows, he's a Texan boy, just how hard this is, but he seems up for the fight. Now, the hermit. So this is what I mean about people hunkering down and not wanting to look at the real issues. You know. But the hermit shines the light, and I think he can do a lot from the back seat or from a not always public position. He can do this thing. The hermit is very scholarly and has a great deal of wisdom. And Beto does come across as having a lot of compassion and a lot of wisdom, if only people are willing to look at it and not keep doing this silliness about trying to go back to the 50s or 30s or 1500s or wherever it is they live in their heads. Don't understand. Okay. So now, in other news, a Las Vegas newspaper came out. It's interesting, the print media is doing a better job, I think, than even CNN and MSNBC, that are these endless talking heads. So I don't know who's still reading newspapers. Could be me and 2 other people. But a Las Vegas newspaper said it couldn't find a GOP candidate who wasn't a threat to democracy. That tells you something in a nutshell, doesn't it? They're not just not good candidates. I'm hoping there's a bit of a vibe out there with the Lauren Birdbutts and the Marjorie Taylor Greens and these ones. People must be beginning to think, when do you do some work? I always see you on your soapbox. When do you do some work for the voters, you know? So hopefully. Now, the Ctee endorsed Barry Loudermilk for re-election in Georgia. Georgia's not going well for Ctee, is it? I mean, even Kemp, you know, held the line. Purdue's sunk without trace. But he's backed Loudermilk. Now, the thing about him is he gave testimony and he's been called back because they've obviously got some footage of him doing the guided tour on January 5th. And this is when the White House was locked down because of COVID. And he said he didn't do a tour. He didn't take anyone through. It wasn't me, Your Honour. And I don't think they'd be getting him back unless they had some proof he was there. So let's have a look. Let's have a look. What's his name? Barry Loudermilk. Let's have a look. Quick glance at this. Yet another liar. Okay, so here we have it. Oh, his cards aren't too bad. How boring is that? Look, this is the wedding. It could be his wedding with the Yeti. Wouldn't that be a lovely event to attend? Look at that. Yeah. But yes, there was dark money. Yes, he did do this thing. Then his next card is the Eight of Wands, which is lots of things happening. So in other words, this week, the next few weeks, he's going to be hit with all this stuff. But Page of Wands, not the worst card in the world. Another spin could be, this could be one of the younger senators or a younger witness who puts him there. I don't know it's him. But his outcome card is Temperance. And Temperance is really reasonable. Hate that. So I think he's going to skate. Unless, of course, he gives up the bride, the Yeti bride. He might have gone in to see the Yeti. But with this card, they're not appalling cards. I think he'll just get lost in the wash. Now, Giuliani gave 9 hours of testimony, which is probably the longest time he's gone without a drink in living memory. So what did he say? What is he doing? Is he still being defiant behind closed doors? What do his legal eagles think? What's going on for Giuliani? Giuliani. Oh, Jesus. No, Giuliani is in trouble. These are very different from Loudermilk's card, for example. Okay, Giuliani's in trouble. He's got the Knight of Pentacles. This is the paid mercenary, or even worse, the guy who sells his soul for money, Giuliani, and then doesn't get paid. So he's a stupid mercenary. This is what happens, I think, when you go to bed with a bottle every night for 50 years. It erodes the brain cells, you know. Not a good opening card for Giuliani, followed rapidly by he's going to spend a lot of time being stabbed in the next little while by the judiciary. So it's not just the January 6th stuff. All these swords is saying it's all the other stuff. You know, remember Lev and Igor and the Ukraine and all the other appalling behaviour is going to come home to roost, one after the other. It's a 10 and he's got to the end of the road with that. But his next card of the moon, I don't think they know what to do with him. This is a recurring problem with the judiciary right through the Trump years, even for the January 6th committee, who I think are doing a magnificent job, but they're not sure what to do with famous people. And I'm sorry, it's not complicated. No one is above the law. We all know that's not true, but let's try and make it true. Let's try and pretend America is a functioning democracy with an independent judiciary. Wouldn't that be awesome? But they don't know what to do with him. That's my take. With these two cards, he gets the Eight of Wands too, with the Ten of Swords. He's not going to have any respite from all of this for a very long time. Now, I'm going to do one more. Oh, I think it's the same with Jenny Thomas. I mean, this is a woman who should be in jail. Look, after doing that long flight back from Europe, instead of sending people to jail, you know what? They should make them fly economy to Australia, back and forth for a month. It'd be horrendous. I'd be quite happy as an alternative to jail to have to do that flight. Let's have a quick look at Ginny and Clarence. Ginny and Clarence. I might use my other cards for this, my little cuties, my little Italian cards. Ginny Thomas, and for that matter, Clarence. Ginny Thomas. I've read on her recently, but this should be active. Is anything going to happen with Ginny Thomas? For her active, seditious behaviour, a traitor to her country. Let's see. Not even allegedly. She keeps saying it, doesn't deny it. Not even allegedly. Ah, the White House. How hilarious. Oh, check these out, intrepid viewers. Check these out. First cab off the rank, the Casa, the White House card. Praying over, I think this is the death of her current life. I don't mean necessarily she's going to jail, but she's certainly going to be off the social list of people. This is the death of something major. So, you know what I mean? And it's being on your own at the graveside. That's why I think friends are going to fall away, because she's in disgrace, disgracia. Total disgrace, tongue on fire. Fabulous image for this woman. Oh, disappointment and tears. I have zero sympathy. Absolutely none. In fact, minus. Mustn't have uncharitable thoughts. I love these cards. I should use them more often. Okay. So I'll finish here by, I want to keep looking at the DOJ and what they're doing, because now, you know, they've requested the transcripts. I hope the Dems don't do something stupid and just give it to them so they can start. So what's happening with the DOJ, Garland, the January 6th moving forward? Give the cards a good split, and then we know if the same cards turn up they're meant to. You know. So, and just while I'm shuffling, Tonga. Dear Tonga. I seem to spend a lot of time sending money to Tonga with that huge volcano, biggest ever. Reverberations around the world. Tonga's only a little country. Okay, DOJ, please tell us, moving forward. Oh, I know, I do have to move on the hearings. I'll do that next. So this isn't my last. Write it down, Lena. The brain. Okay, the DOJ. What can you tell us, please, about the DOJ? Even Brag's going ahead. Oh my God. 2 more things. Thought we were finished. May not. Okay. DOJ. Well, I don't like this card in the center. I don't like it. I just don't like it. Okay, the 7 of Cups. There is some degree of confusion how to proceed. I'm sorry, you've had 4 years to think about this. You've had more than a year since the insurrection. I shouldn't be getting this card. Hate this. Right. The other cards are more promising, but it's hard to get past this. Head in the clouds, what to do. A bit too confused for my liking. Again, it's not rocket science. Follow the money. Remember, deep throat was, I think, one of the first to say that. Follow the money. That's all you have to do. You can bring your big stick to the table. That's your job, to wield the big stick. They get the Knight of Pentacles, which we just got in another reading, meaning the mercenary. In this case, in this context with the DOJ, it's back to its more orthodox meaning with the Knight of Pentacles, which is slow and steady and thorough. But not too slow, please. God. Yeah. And there they are. This is them upholding the law, but they're slowly upholding the law. Let me just do a quickie on them. I'm just going to ask, will there be action, legal action before the midterms? I'm just going to ask her. Legal action before the midterms, please. Legal action before the midterms from the DOJ, yes or no? Legal action, at least started before the midterms. Legal action be started. Tower, oh Christ, the Hermit. The walking away. Hierophant, don't, oh God. Maybe it's my jet lag or something. Okay, here we go. The crowning card is the Tower. Now, let's hope it means they're going to crash the party and bring down the Tower. Let's hope it's not a DOJ tower. Surely, surely. I don't think so, because their outcome is still standing, representing everything about government and law and order. So as I'm holding the card, thinking about it, I think they're going to start the Tower. I'm feeling a bit better. So far, they're working without leaks. They're working with their cards close to their chest, and that's appropriate to shine light on everything that's gone on. This is the 8 of Cups walking away. I think they have to choose their battles. They're not going to be able to prosecute everything. So instead of dabbling with that 7 of Cups card, dabble, 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 no, choose 3 or 4 gritty issue, even 2 big, clear-cut issues, and go for that. This is walking away on their own terms, so I'm not worried about them doing that. I think they've probably got all these cups going on now, or these possibly as many as 8 separate issues, maybe more, and they have to walk away on their own terms from a lot of them and get on with it and do their Hierophant job. Okay? Do what you were designed and meant to do. Thank you. Shouldn't have to tell them everything. Okay, the things. let's have a quick look at how the hearings are going to go. We'll keep looking at this question because it'll change once it starts. But the energy now today, let's get behind the scenes with the Jan 6 committee. Let's go behind the scenes. What do they think they've got for these public hearings? Are they happy with what they've got? Do they feel they've done enough? Let's see. Behind the scenes, Jan 6 committee. Yes, well, I'm not surprised. Now, with this Seven of Swords, I think they're going to be able to, make a case here, hopefully. If they can point out the theft of the election, the opening card is the grand theft. I think they think they've got enough. They're not entirely happy with what's going forward. I think there'd be some dispute, which is understandable. Do we show this video? Do we not show that video? Do we do this? Do we do that? Not everyone's happy with everyone else's decision, right? So it's not smooth. They're not all going 100%, we do this and we release it in this sequence and we do whatever. No, but that's to be expected. Well, this is the Ctee. He always wants to be on television. So it's going to be very interesting what is said about him on television. And here comes the Queen of Swords. I think this isn't so much Pelosi, but what's her face? Liz Cheney. Because even though that she's the daughter of a demon in her own reality, who can forgive Halliburton? Anyway, she's redeeming herself in the role on this. The loss and disappointment, I need to do a clarifier. Whose loss and disappointment? So I think Liz Cheney is a huge power behind the scenes because she's with one other Republican and because they want to be seen as bipartisan, because she's who she is, everything about it. She has a very big role, but we know that. So we need a clarifier. Maybe I'll go back to the Italian cards, please. The Five of Cups, loss and betrayal. Whose loss and betrayal? Clarifier on the Five of Cups. Yeah, yeah, look. Remember at the beginning I was saying the conflabs behind the scenes. This is the conversation. This is exactly what's happening about the loss. Now I see it as the loss of the loss of election integrity. The whole ordeal for the United States has been a loss. I'm now seeing it in those terms, right? It was the loss of innocence about being a democracy when these clowns and fascists can just deny it. Anyway, so here they are in the conversation. Liz Cheney turns up again, hands on the hips, standing her ground. I think she'll have a lot of influence over what goes forward publicly because she will have an eye on what, because the Dems don't need convincing. All of us, dear intrepid viewers, we know how appalling these creatures are. We know. She is very confident. This is a very confident woman, confident stance. What will penetrate what's left of the GOP? Now, the Australian election changed everything because the undecided voters, the independent candidates did hugely well, and women really stepping up. the Conservatives lost seats they've held all their lives. Since Australia was a federation baby, they lost seats for the first time. And it was women who did that, right? And these women independents did a great job. So my take on it is Liz Cheney is going to play a big role. Okay, I have some housekeeping news. I'm officially opening the books next week for private readings, which I adore doing. I love you guys. They're always fun. So if you want a private reading, email me. My email is under every video, and not so much recently, but I'll make sure it's under this one. The other thing is Saturday Night Live. I'm going to be on with Hogarth, Diane, and Lady G. That's Saturday Night Live. I don't know the US time slots, but it'll be your night time because it's my early morning Sunday. So look at Hogarth's channel, and he usually has up a thing what time the live stream will start, and you can be live with me on Saturday night, which would be fabulous. And the third thing is, in case you missed it, Hakeem Jeffries really went to town on Clarence Thomas, and I'm going to put that link up for you. Okay. All right, that's it for now. Take care. Bye.